What is going on? Good morning, everybody out here in YouTube land. Welcome back to episode 11. We are in, well, I guess last episode we were in the double digits. But we are episode 11. It's a nice little angel number, 11. And I want to talk about surrender in this episode. Now, we have covered sacrifice. But surrender and sacrifice are two different things, okay? When we look at sacrifice, sacrificing tends to be giving up something that we either don't want to have to give up or choosing between one or another thing, right? If I have cheeseburger or pizza, I can only have one. I'm going to sacrifice the pizza for the cheeseburger, or vice versa. So sacrifice means kind of giving up one thing for something else. Whereas surrender, and we're going to bring this into a story, surrender means essentially just letting go. Letting go of things that are being removed from your life. Excuse me, letting go of people that are no longer on the same journey as you, letting go of finances, and that's going to bring me into my story here. But letting go is the form of surrender, allowing yourself to free yourself of trying to hold on to something, to someone that is no longer in your best interest or is no longer trying to hold on to you in return. You can only hold on to something for so long before your strength, your grip goes. If you don't have that other connection where somebody else is trying to hold on to you and they open up, they're letting go, and you have to let go as well. So, now you don't have to, but if you don't, life is going to be very, very difficult for you if you don't learn the lesson of surrender. Now, that's going to bring me into a little story that I want to share with you. So, we've talked about the wrestling journey. We've talked a little bit about the lawsuit and different things that I've personally gone through in my life, in this wonderful, fun, exciting, exhausting journey that I am on. And one of the biggest things, when I left Arizona, when my ex-partner decided she no longer wanted to do this with me, she didn't want to be in the business anymore, she didn't want to be a part of it, she didn't want to be with me, I had to let go. I could have tried to fight, but for what? What's the point of fighting for something that the other person doesn't want anymore? And we see this all the time in society, in relationships. We see people who can't let go while the other person has already decided to let go. They've already made that decision. And so it's not like this anymore where there's two people gripping to something to hold on. It's like this. They've let go. I don't know if you guys can hear me. They've let go and you're still trying to hold on. But if you lose that grip, it's gone. They're not there to support that grip. So, when the relationship ended, I chose surrender. I had to choose either surrender or fight. Now, you could look at it as a sacrifice. I sacrificed the option of fighting to choose the option of surrender. I simply chose to let go of everything that was being removed from my life. My cat, my girlfriend, my business partner, finances, my home, the whole state of Arizona at the time. And so it's very scary. And that brings us into the fear mindset that we talked about in one of the other episodes, fear, right? But I want to take you into this scenario. So in my choosing to surrender my relationship, my business partner, my partnership, everything else, it opened up the doors to bring me to where we are today. It opened up the doors to bring me deeper into the freedom of flowing through life versus trying to swim against the current and just be exhausted because the current is moving me one way, I'm swimming against it the other way, and the current is always going to be stronger than my stroke. So that's a non-stop current. The current of life is constantly flowing and moving you. And you can try to fight against it for a certain amount of time, but you're going to exhaust yourself far before life gets exhausting of moving that current. And so if you decide to just surrender and go with the flow, you will see so many new things. You will meet so many new people that you would never have met. Your mindset will be in such a different place of observation and perhaps clarity that you will be able to take in so much more from your surroundings and see so many new doors that might be opening, windows that might be opening, walls that might be coming down that you'd never seen before because you were so busy fighting to hold on to something that was already gone, right? It was already gone. So my lessons came at a very, very hefty price tag. And so when I left Arizona, I had the freedom. I started traveling. I went back up to Massachusetts. I set up my office space up in Massachusetts. I allowed the universe to kind of flow and guide me down its path. I didn't want to go back to Massachusetts. I grew up there. The energy in New England for me just feels heavy. It feels dense. I don't enjoy it. It's not a place that I like to spend a lot of time. But in that moment of surrender, I knew, okay, this is the best option right now to allow life to take me back up home, allow me to place myself at my family's house, save money while I pay off these attorney fees because that was a part of the process, set up this office space, which actually worked out beautiful because the owner of the gym, Powerhouse in West Springfield, Steve, I used to work for as a cleaner when I started this journey 21 years ago. So he was still the owner. I reconnected with him. I did a session on him for therapy, and I ended up doing a handshake deal and setting up an office space in West Springfield Powerhouse Gym. And that's where I've had an office for the last 4 years since I left. And this year just relinquished it to a massage therapist and another SRT professional that I trained out there because we're live again in Arizona, and just balancing so many different states and what I do with the travel was just becoming very hard. So I relinquished the office, but I still will be seeing people when I'm up there. But I digress. So surrendering brought me back to Massachusetts. Surrendering brought me into building better connections and relationships across the country. It brought me into Sweden. It brought me into Norway. It brought me into Canada. It's allowed me the opportunities that it would never have allowed me had I been struggling and fighting to hold on to something and someone that was already gone. Okay, so that allowed so many wonderful opportunities, which brings me to another component. I allowed myself, so I was big into, and I am into investing and crypto. Not huge, I don't have millions of dollars in this, but it's something that I do for myself for the future and setting myself up for hopefully a retirement portfolio. But I was approached with an opportunity to invest into this crypto savings. And now I know a lot of people here maybe aren't huge fans of crypto or don't understand it. And hear me out. So I'm approached by a woman talking to me about my courses for SRT, and then we start chatting and we start talking about investing, and it's like, yeah, I do that. I'm in crypto, I'm in stocks and different things like that. So she brings up this investment opportunity of basically annual returns on yields might be 4%, 5%. If you get a good stock, maybe 7, 8%, you might be lucky. So a 5% return yearly or annually. This was a 1% return daily. So every day it was paying you 1%. And it didn't make sense to me at the time, but she didn't push it on me. And so I looked it up, I revisited it a little bit, I did some back research. And the kicker was, and I should have, in my gut, I felt like this was going to be a con. It was going to be a scam. But then on the other end, I had to sit back and I had to say, well, Chris, wait a minute. You just went through all of these different things. You just went through a $250,000 lawsuit. You're in debt right now with $76,000 left to pay off. You have to buy a new car. You have all of these things. And so this woman offered to teach me. She offered to send me $1,000 through crypto, teach me how to invest it, and then if I decided I wanted to do it, move forward. And the one question I had from my authentic self was, why would you do that? Why would you send somebody that you don't know $1,000 to show them how to do this? And her reply hit me, and I thought it was authentic, and that was what it brought me into it. She asked me, do I ever do free therapy? And I said, yeah, I do free demo sessions. I offer people complimentary sessions so that they can feel it. And she goes, well, why do you do that? And I said, because I want them to feel it. I want them to better understand what it is. I want them to see the benefits to this and then either come back for themselves or tell somebody else about it, and somebody else comes to see me and I can help more people. And she goes, I have enough money. I want to help people set themselves up for the future. I want to help people get rich if they can. And so $1,000 is nothing for me. And I thought that was a great answer. It sounded like a very genuine answer. So I said, okay, well, maybe this is the universe giving me an opportunity to recoup my legal fees, to be able to make solid money and make it worth everything that I just went through over the last three years, right? So we do the whole thing. I put the money in, I take the money back out. I put the money in, it's making 1% per day, $10 a day. I take the money back out. Okay, I put it back in, I send it to my bank. I test it out, I do what I need to do. And then I realized, well, you know what? It's working. I don't know where the scam is. I can't find the con. And I had just, my stocks were down. My stocks were probably down $60,000. And instead of waiting 5 years or 6 years for them to come back up and then sell it to break even, I decided, well, I'm going to take the loss. I'm going to take a $60,000 loss. I can write it off. And I'm going to invest the remaining money, which is probably about $70,000, into this. If I can put $70,000 over here, and this is making me 1% per day, I'm making almost $700 a day, right? 700? 7,000? 700. I'm making $700 a day. That's literally like doing 4 or 5 therapy sessions a day just on auto pay. And it's getting reinvested back into the stock. So I did this over a period of time. I put in 5,000, I put in 10,000. It was making some money. I tested it. I took it back out. And then it was hit. Then I was hit. Once I got the 70,000 in, and the woman I was communicating with, I pretty much told her, you know, that's where I'm at. I'm not putting any more money in. I'm keeping a balanced portfolio. Then there was the scam. Then came the extortion, basically. You got an email or a message saying that the company Coinbase was in a lawsuit and this company is being looked at for tax evasion and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. And so anyways, the long story short was the con was, okay, well, you're done putting money in. We're going to let you put money in. We're going to let you take your money out to build the trust so that you keep putting money in until we know that you no longer are putting money in. Now your account is frozen because it's under investigation for tax evasion. So now you owe X amount of money. So there was 70 grand. I think it was 30%. I'm now supposed to pay 30% of what's in the account to unlock the account. And it wasn't something where, well, take the money out of my account. No, you have to pay more money in to get your money unlocked. And it was just like a knife into my heart, because this was $70,000. I could have literally paid off my attorney fees, almost all of it, bought in a new car with the amount of money that I was conned out of. And I know a lot of people don't share these stories because it makes you feel stupid or sound stupid, like who would fall for such a thing? People fall for it all the time, guys, especially when you're hoping that after you've been through trials and tribulations that there is some light at the end of the tunnel, that there is opportunity, that there is possibility, that people are actually genuinely good people and not scumbags that are going to screw you over. But man, oh man, when we talk about surrender, having to get to a place in your mind of surrendering and understanding that 70 grand is gone. I filed a police report with the FBI. I listed the website, all that stuff. I'm never going to hear anything back from it, guys. Crypto is a tough game. But the moral of the story is you have to be willing to surrender. And I'm going to share this with you, and I've only shared this with a select few people, but I was in Texas at the time. I had been dating another woman that I ended up breaking up with because it was just a toxic relationship. But I had set up an office in Texas because I was dating this woman. So I had just signed a lease in Texas for $600 a month. And in the first month, I broke up with her. Now I can't get out of a lease. It's a legally binding agreement, which I just went through a lawsuit with legality. So now I'm paying $600 a month for a year for an office space in Texas when I'm not going to be in Texas because I broke up with the woman that I was dating. And now I just lost $70,000, or surrendered $70,000. I didn't lose it. I know where it went, but I had to surrender $70,000. And I remember, guys, sitting in my car outside of the gym, the Sanctuary Gym, fitness, where faith meets fitness. And I remember sitting there, and I was tired. Honestly, I was tired. I was tired of being here. I was tired of pushing through the obstacles after obstacles. I was tired of pushing the stone uphill only to have it keep rolling back down on me. And it was a challenging mental place for me to be. And I remember talking to my parents on the phone, and I'm just sitting outside, and the sun's going down, and I'm outside the gym. And my dad's worried, and, don't do anything stupid, and we love you, and, you'll get through this. And my mom's just, I don't know why your lessons and all of this have been so financially draining. I mean, it was finances when it came to the lawsuit and SRT company. It was finances when it came to this crypto, and big amounts of money that I didn't even have, really, big amounts of money that I was not used to dealing with. I mean, between the lawsuit and the $70,000 surrender to the extortion scam, I was pushing $330,000 almost. 300, that's almost $500,000. And so I worked out. I was depressed. I was angry. I was a lot of stuff. And I got back to the hotel room and I sat there and I closed my eyes. And in the realization with my eyes being closed, I said, what if I lost my sight? What if I couldn't see? So I stayed like that for an hour with my eyes closed. I got up. I found my way to the shower. I took a shower. I made my food. I heated up in the microwave. And then I sat down to use my phone and I realized I can't use my phone. I don't know Braille. I can't see. I don't know. I can't go out of my hotel room. I can't drive my car. I can't do anything that I would normally be able to do. And in that moment of clarity, in that ability to shift my mindset, I came to the realization I would willingly surrender $70,000 any day of the week. I would surrender $500,000. I would surrender $1 million if I had it any day of the week than to lose my eyesight or to lose my hearing or to become paralyzed, lose use of one of my arms, or you lose the use of my legs. Then I can't do any of the SRT stuff. I suppose I could do it being deaf and blind as well, but it makes life so much more challenging. And these are the things that we don't think about. These are the things that surrender really hits home. Like, think back, no matter where you are now, think back to some of the worst points of your life. And where are you now? Are you in a worse point? Or has life gotten a little better? Maybe you're still kind of in the same playing field. But chances are, once you actually surrender, once you take all of that weight off your shoulders, you breathe deep, the first deep breath in a long time, without struggling to hold on to things because they're gone. It's gone. What is me holding on to $70,000 going to do when it's gone? What is me getting angry at the person? Now, I don't know if the woman who scammed me was a part of the scam. I don't know if the woman who scammed me was being scammed herself. Or if she was working for a scam center and this is what her job literally was, and this is how she had to feed her kids, was to scam people. And we see this a lot from India and Nigeria. This is how they make a living. And they're not making the money that they're stealing from you. They're making pennies to pay their families or to buy food. So it was something that I had to allow myself to entertain a bunch of different possible realities. Pick the one that worked the best for me to allow me that surrender. To allow me to relinquish the anger that I had, the rage I was feeling, the hatred I was starting to cultivate. And I don't know, I will never know what the truth is with the woman who scammed me. But the story, the reality, the choice that I choose is that she was either forced by socioeconomics, where this was what she did for a living to pay her bills, or somebody was coercing her. Maybe her kids were held captive and she had to do this to help other people. I don't know. But I get to choose which one I want to believe, and I'm going to choose the one that makes her into a better person. And that's going to make it easier for me to surrender everything. Surrender the emotions, surrender the money, and surrender the experience to just chalking it up. I learned a lot. If it's too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. Using discernment, learning how to identify, and being okay with walking away from an opportunity that sounds too good to be true. We all want it to be true. But sometimes, a lot of the times, when it sounds too good to be true, it is. So when I talk about surrender to end this episode, I have lived it so many times over. Surrendering friendships. When my ex left me in Arizona and all of her friends and colleagues chose to block me and unfriend me, I let it go. I let them go. I let her go. I let my home go. I let my gym go. I built a gym in our garage. I let the entire state of Arizona go for 4 years, right? I got scammed. I let my anger go. I let my money go. Guys, I've let everything almost go. When I live now, it's super minimalistic. This is my office. I don't have a TV here. I don't even have the internet. I hook up my computer to my hotspot, and that's how I log into the internet. Or I go down and I hang out by the pool, and I can use the internet over here. But I've lived the life of some heavy level type of surrender. From COVID, surrendering your job, surrender. So this is one of the most important episodes you're going to watch, at least out of the 11 that we've done. And I hope it hits home for some of you guys. I hope my story, I hope my challenges and obstacles and my surrendering of these things helps you to realize we are all going to the same place. We all end up in the ground at some point. And everything we have now is already a bonus. So if you can let go of the things when they go from your energy field, from your life will be so much easier. Learning to flow with life and stop fighting and swimming against it. It makes life so much easier. Doesn't mean that you're not going to struggle, and it does not mean you're not going to get hit with obstacles again. But it teaches you how to surrender to life. Sometimes you want to fight, but a lot of the times it's about surrendering, accepting what is as it is. I accepted the loss of my girlfriend. I accepted the loss of my partner. I accepted the loss of my cat. I accepted the loss of my home. I accepted the loss of $70,000. I accepted being on the road. I accepted the loss of being able to have a home that was mine, have my own bed. This is the first time that I've had a bed that was my bed in over 4 years. This is the first time I've had an apartment that I can say is my apartment in over 4 years. 12, 24, 36, 48 months. I've surrendered comfort. I've surrendered finances. I've surrendered friendships. I have surrendered on certain levels mental health. But I want you guys to keep that in mind. Again, these episodes, I think our last episode was authenticity. And this is as authentic as I can be with you, is to share my journey, share my stories with you, and hope that somebody somewhere resonates with it and you realize, wow, what I've lost is just something materialistic. And I have my life, I have my health, I have my sight, my vision, whatever it is, right? These are things we can't get back. We can always make money back. We can always make new friends. We can always have new relationships, find new lovers. But appreciate what you have that's permanent, that if you lost it, you may never get that back. So, thank you for watching, guys. This is a little bit of a heavier episode, and longer, but I appreciate you all. As always, subscribe, notification bell, like button, wherever these guys are, and I will see you in episode 12 next Monday.